Hey, what's happening? This is Constantine Maroulis, and you are listening to the Paulie Z Show.
Yo, 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 welcome back to the Paulie Z Show, episode number 29. And I am excited because this is the first podcast after our Midwest little tour that ZO2 did last week. And, so I apologize for the time in between podcasts, but we were on the road. And before I get started and tell you what my next guest is, one of the highlights of being on the road was we saw a great movie called Get Him to the Greek. And I got to tell you, I highly recommend it. It's super funny. A couple scenes were a little awkward, acting-wise, I thought. There were a couple, when you see it, you'll know what I mean. But there were a few scenes that I thought, the editing was a little weird, a little long. And P. Diddy had a rough start with his acting, and then he kind of fell into it. But overall, very funny, very entertaining, and very unique in its style. So that was, and I'll talk more about the Midwest tour at the end of the podcast because I don't want to keep my guest waiting too long. But talk about the Segway King, get him to the Greek. Let's talk to someone Greek. I'm talking about the famous, the one and only, the Greek McGee? No, I don't know. I need a name for him. The Greek god himself. The Greek god himself. I'm talking about Constantine Maroulis. Constantine, you there?
I'm here, man. What's up, Paulie?
What's up, brother? Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, man.
Yo, yo. See, actually, Constantine, I don't know if everybody knows, but you can say yo, yo, yo. That's okay because aren't you actually born in Brooklyn?
I was born in Brooklyn, definitely. So
Yes.
I guess, yeah, I'm official.
That's right. So you are allowed to do, because I start all my shows yo, yo, yo. And when people email me, it's yo, Paulie at thePaulieZShow.com, and they always start out yo, yo, yo. So it's a big Brooklyn pride thing there. And, sometimes when you're on the road, people are like, hey, oh, how you doing? I'm like, go fuck yourself. What are you copying my style? But you can do it, my friend. You can do it. So
Thank you.
So, I was just saying in the intro before that, we had at the time of this taping we're taping this show the day after we had just played with you at the Highline Ballroom. And my brother and I did an acoustic set. We opened for you guys, and that was the second time we did it. And it's just a great night. It really was, just from beginning to end. It's just a really good vibe. The band sounded great. You sounded great. We had a good time. And I just wanted you to first, before anything, tell everybody a little bit about what is the project. Like, what does it even have a name? Like, when people ask me, I'm not even sure how to answer that. Like, tell me about it.
Well, thanks, man. Thank you, Paulie. Yeah, man, and you guys definitely killed it. You and your brothers, ZO2 in the house, acoustic. Your voices sounded amazing. You killed it, and you were rocking it. And thank you for warming up those ladies out there for us. Yeah, man, it was a great night, and another great night at the Highline Ballroom. The show is called A Night at the Rock Show. And the sort of idea of A Night at the Rock Show is sort of building on the strength of my hit show Rock of Ages and my stint on American Idol. I love the great, rock and roll song. And, I'm writing and all that. But, while I'm putting some new material together, I wanted to put this project in motion. And basically it's a sort of celebration of the great rock and roll writers, the great rock songs, a combination of some rarer cuts. Is that a word, rarer?
Rare? I don't know if it's rarer. Can you get a steak rarer?
That's fine. I think in Brooklyn it might be a real word, but I'm not sure. But no, it's that's the sort of idea, is to sort of feature some great writers. We got some great medleys, a great band, and we put on a show and telling some stories, some feedback on some of the work, and it's interactive with the fans, and it's been a lot of fun. We're working on this TV special, so we've been playing all these warm-up shows, and it's been pretty successful.
Yeah, I like the stories. There's a little bit like storytellers where, in between you're telling people like why you picked the song, or when you're a kid, like, and how you got your voice. And I like the The dinosaur? What was the? You said you got your high voice imitating dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, you know how it is. You've probably been wailing like a rock star since you were a little kid, and something about the guys used to be like, "Yo, man, you sing like a girl," and I was like, "That's cool, girls can rock." And I guess I just learned how to sort of sing, trying to imitate Steven Tyler, but you could lose your voice trying to do that when you're a kid. So you kind of figure out a way to do it in a healthy way. And, I kind of just make that, like that dinosaur sound.
Do the sound.
Wow, that thing. But just kind of push the air through, a little at a time. And it seems to work.
Now, have you ever done that sound while having sex?
Pretty much every time.
Really? Yeah. And is that a turn on for them, for the girls, or no? Do they
I've done it 3 or 4 times today already.
Really? That's interesting. That's going to be like you're like a staple.
2 of the 3 times were with myself.
Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
That's okay.
I make crazy.
I had to warm up for softball,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about that real quick. You got so today. First of all, we're very happy that you were able to do the podcast because today you had a busy day. You were playing softball. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the cast of Rock of Ages versus the cast of 21 Guns?
American Idiot. Yeah.
American Idiot.
So, although 21 Guns would be a good title for their show, then there'd have to be only 21 people in it, I guess. Huh?
Right. That would be a lot of people.
Great show, American Idiot, Green Day's rock musical versus Rock of Ages. And it's been a big hyped-up matchup, and we've been talking a little smack on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter at Constantine M. And it was a big showdown. We lost. We took an L today, but it was a great game.
What happened?
They had some lucky unearned runs, and
well, talk to me. What happened?
In the playoffs, definitely.
Now, what happened though? For real, what happened? Who fucked up?
What happened? We took an early lead. We were hitting big in the first inning. I got an RBI in the first inning. We left the bases loaded. We could have really stepped on their neck. They were scared. We were hitting the ball really hard, and then they came back right away and tied the game. Then we just had a few blunders in the field, and then they took like a 4-2 lead, and then they had a one more big inning, and then we scored a few more runs, and we lost in the last licks. We lost in the bottom of the 7th inning there. So all good.
What was the score?
We'll see them in the playoffs.
What was that?
And our show is still better.
What was Oh, look at that. What was the final score then?
I can't remember, like 10-6 or something like that.
So wait, now, but did Green Day, were they there, or was just the cast of the show?
They are there sometimes. They were not at the game today. I think after the Tonys last week, they probably went back to Berkeley, and they're getting ready for a tour also. So.
Oh, okay. All right, so you've hung with those guys and everything.
Oh, yeah. I actually did the workshops of the show early on. Got to work closely with them. With Billy Joe and the boys, and it was an amazing experience. The show is strong. It is. It's very different. It's it's more of like a musical event. It's not like your typical Broadway show. It's got great music and great talent up there. It's not for everybody. I think that's sort of been proven in their numbers. But it's an interesting piece, and it's an important piece. It's very artful, and I think they're doing pretty good. I mean, our show, it's hard to compete with our show. It's so much fun, so much energy, so many laughs.
And the songs, though, I mean, it's like, how do you compete with
songs? Are unbelievable, one after the other. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like doing, you know what I mean? It's like doing a Beatles play, That's what I should do. I'll just put out a play and just have all Beatles songs, and he'll be like, I'm a genius.
I know. It's like cheating. Cheating.
Yeah, well, not necessarily, because you still got to perform it. I mean, you guys still have to make those songs come alive, which is what you do. They can't just put any Joe Schmo up there. Then it's like karaoke. But it still helps to have songs that people resonate with. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, for those of you that don't know, Rock of Ages is my show on Broadway, and it's a love story set in the mid to late '80s, Sunset Strip. Boy meets girl. The 2 Midwesterners meet on the Sunset Strip. He falls in love with the girl. I play Drew. He's a wannabe songwriter, rock star. He meets Sherry on her first day in L.A., gets her a job at the big club he works at, the Rock Club, the Bourbon Room. Madness ensues. This German developer comes in and threatens to, demolish our club and the whole Sunset Strip and kill rock and roll, basically. And we have to put on a big show, and we bring the big rock star back, Stacey Jacks, who's, of course, huge.
Stacey Jacks. Now,
and before he goes solo, we want him to put on one big show for us, and then even more madness ensues. And the whole thing is told through songs from Journey, Whitesnake, Poison, Twisted Sister, Quarter Flash, everything. David Lee Roth. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The well of material you guys have is great. And what do you think, Stacey Jacks, though? I think I could take that role, no? What do you think?
You definitely could take that role down. You smash it. Your humor and your voice. And let's face it, the chicks dig you.
Well, I didn't want to say it. I didn't really. I never. I didn't want to say it.
Yes, you did. But I said it for you. I think Rock of Ages has a long future, and I think Paulie Z is definitely in the future for
Am I in there?
Rock of Ages.
You heard it first. You heard it first. At some point. Well, we don't
come
know.
on the road with me. I'm taking the show on the road in September. 50 cities nationally.
Dude, we would be.
We're opening in Chicago in September, and we'd smash it, you and I.
Me and you on the road, I think, would be bad news, man. We'd be like Nikki Sixx, Tommy Lee.
That might be true.
Yeah, we'd be tearing it up. Are you crazy? Oh, my God.
Us in, Ohio and stuff like that, going through that town, Columbus or something.
Oh, no.
Might be trouble. But
what's your deal?
Looking forward to it.
I'm curious. And I think we talked about this before. So what's your deal with, are you in a relationship, or are you enjoying the single life with this whole adventure?
I don't really have a comment on that situation right now. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm not married. I'm dating. There's someone that's out there that is right for me. Eventually, we'll settle down and do it right. But right now, I'm working pretty hard, and I don't have a whole lot of time. But
you got no freaking days
off. And relationships take sacrifice, and I don't have a whole lot of that left right now with my work. So
yeah. Well, what about when you were on Idol? And let's talk about obviously that was a big break because it was I would say when most people figure out who you are. At least that's when I knew who you are. That was the big break. So when that was all going down, what was some of the benefits from that? The perks, you know what I mean? Not on the business side. Let's talk.
Wow.
Yeah. Come on, tell me.
Look, it was a few years ago, and
talk to me.
What's funny is around 2005, you kind of just missed the huge wave of celebrity obsession. Perez hadn't quite taken off. The TMZ sort of culture that we're in right now, the dementedness of Us Weekly and all these magazines and all that stuff. Now, we had a big taste as to what it's like, overnight success. And, I was sneaking out every night and going to the clubs and stuff and meeting girls, sure, and sneaking girls back to, where we were living and getting a little crazy. But I was able to do it under the radar, which was pretty cool. A year or two removed from that, I wouldn't have been able to get away with any of that stuff.
Really?
So, I definitely had some fun. The tour was amazing. I mean, we did 50 or 60 dates, all arenas, 10,000 plus. It was bananas. And me and Bo Bice, actually, we had a lot of fun out there. But
do you stay in touch with any of those guys?
I do. In fact, Anthony Fedorov, who was on my season, got a good voice. He was at a Night at the Rock show last night. He came through. He saw you guys. He saw me, and he had a good time.
That's right. The blonde, right? Blonde kid?
Blonde kid, yeah. With the tracheotomy scar there on his neck.
Yes.
Good kid. He sort of settled into doing, some theater and stuff like that. And
he reminds me of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You've seen the movie?
Yes,
yeah.
Of course.
He reminds me of Rocky. He's got the blonde, right? Because he's very blonde. I don't know if he's albino.
He's got that look, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. He should do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He'd be perfect for that. You know, that's one thing I always wanted to do is Dr. Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror. I did it a couple
That'd
times.
be huge.
Oh, come on. When you see me in that
I'd
outfit.
like to see them bring that back. That did pretty well on Broadway a few years ago for a little stretch. They had some stars in that. That was a lot of fun.
I saw it with Sebastian when he was in it, and it was
Sebastian
great.
was in it, yeah.
Yeah. Would you do that? Would you do that one?
I would definitely do that. I think it's a good show. You know, I'm sort of lucky. I'm in a position right now. I'm in a bit of a mini franchise. You know, I'm gonna leave the show in New York at the end of the summer, open the tour. You know, hopefully open London, open Vegas. You know, and milk this shit for a couple more years. Working on some new songs and stuff, and you know, this TV special. So I'm in a good position right now where I can kind of, you know, kind of relax and
you have some good
ease into this job a little bit more.
Well, what's the deal? When you say open, what does that mean? So does that mean like if you go to London, you just do the first night, the opening night, then you go to another place, and then they have a company that continues it? Or do you do one show?
No,
it's a one-off?
Probably more like if I would open a company, a separate company, rather than just be touring. Like we just opened a Toronto company.
Right.
Now they are staying in Toronto. So let's say I went to Toronto. I'd probably stay there for 3 months and then move on to a new show, and then someone would come in. But open the show, hopefully successfully, hopefully get the good reviews I got, you know, in New York, and then move on. You know, kind of just open the show.
Right, just get it started, get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
But is that what you're doing now? Buzz. Is that what you're going to do in the fall? Or
in the fall, I'm actually going to be touring the show. So we'll be in Chicago 2 weeks, then Boston 2 weeks. We'll be in San Fran 5 weeks. We'll be in LA 3 weeks. You know,
right,
so we'll be moving it along. But while I'm out there, they're going to be opening companies all over the world. Hopefully.
Right. So you're like
so
the
maybe
circus.
I'll peel off a little at a time and go open something else. You know, something like that.
So you say it's kind of like the circus. Like you come into town, you do your thing for a little bit, and then you move to the next one. Okay. That's what I was trying to figure out.
Just far less elephants,
right?
But there's still a few. But you know, I've always wanted to do that. I always wanted to be the ringleader in like the Barnum and Bailey circus.
Why? Where did that come from?
I don't know. I used to go see the circus when I was a kid, Big Apple, and the one they used to have out in the Meadowlands there. It was awesome, and he just seemed like such a star to me, the ringmaster, the ringleader. You know, and he would just, I mean, traveling with a circus and all, it'd be pretty cool.
Would you wear, you just like, you want to wear the mustache, that's why, and the top hat.
I'd grow a mustache.
Yeah.
It would take me a while, but I would grow a nice, you know, a healthy stash and get myself a top hat and bring a little rock and roll to it, but I'd love it. I'd wear the tight pants and everything.
I can see you do that. See, you have the stature. See, me and you, we were talking about this too. Like, we both are over 6 foot. And I'm not really quite sure who's taller, so we don't need to talk about that. But we have the stature, like for certain things, and I think you'd make a great ringleader. What do you think about Cirque du Soleil? Have you seen Cirque du Soleil? Any of those?
I've seen a couple of those versions. I think it's really cool how they've sort of taken theater to like a new place. You know, very modern. And obviously, the talent that's involved is amazing. You know, they're so incredibly gifted in what they can do with their bodies and the expression with dance and, you know, and acrobats and all that stuff. And it's pretty cool, man. It's good stuff.
So you
I support anything, any live art, really.
But I'm saying, like, how did you compare it? Like, you know, if you were a Barnum and Bailey guy, like, did you? You know, is it something that you think it's like, oh, yeah, that's cool, but it ain't like the elephants and stuff?
Well, no, it's not. There's no elephants. So, I mean, the classic circus were far more up my alley than the dancing, you know, trapeze type stuff, you know, of the Cirque du Soleil franchise. But I love what they've done, again, with theater and dance and taking it to a cool place. People seem to love it. And, you know, they're making a lot of money. So, but I'd rather be traveling in a circus and like smell the animals and you know the hot girls like you know, and like the like the bearded woman and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I know,
I'm
yeah.
into that.
I can see you. I can see you shagging it up with the bearded woman. I think you would do it.
That'd be fine.
You would do
I
it.
mean, if she, was right in some other places, you never know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I bet you the bearded woman probably gives the best head because she has to.
She might be good at that. She might be.
She has
She's
to.
had to survive.
Right. She has to survive. She's a
survivor, so she's learned.
The only thing is the beard. I think the beard would tickle my ball sack, and I don't know if I'd like that. I don't know.
I think I might like that. I think I'd like that a little bit.
I don't know if I'd like. I don't know. It'd be almost like a.
I'm into the ball tickle a little bit.
Yeah, but ball tickle with the tongue, not with beard. I don't want a beard tickling my nest.
All right, you close your eyes, it feels the same. You never know.
I guess so. Close my eyes, it'll feel like a toupee or something. I don't know. I don't know if I'm into that.
I don't know what the toupee on my balls feels like, but I know that a woman's touch can be
a woman's touch
healing.
Well, what about? All right, let's talk women for a second. So, if you compare Idol to Rock of Ages, which one got you more tang up to this point? Be honest.
You should throw Rent in there. Actually, before Idol, I was touring with Rent.
How long?
Did pretty well in those days. Did pretty well.
How long was
that? Was like I was a young buck, right out of conservatory training, out on the road with a hot show. Did pretty well. Idol was pretty awesome. Did pretty well there. I think with my workload now, and the fact that I just want to go home and sleep.
Right.
I think I've calmed down a bit.
Okay.
And I think I probably could do pretty well here, but
this takes a lot more effort.
Kind of.
You need coffee.
I'm a little bit more grounded.
Right. Well, so basically, Idol was the quick fix because it gave you the exposure, and then you had more time to play.
Exactly.
Right.
Be more selective now.
Right. Now you're working hard. No, your schedule is pretty grueling, dude. I gotta say, it's tough. I mean, it's like it's almost like working a 9 to 5, just not 9 to 5. But I mean, you guys are pretty much doing it all the time, and so that must be tough.
Yeah, we do 8 shows a week. We work every single day but Wednesday, and usually on my Wednesday, I'm either trying to be in the studio or I've been doing these concerts, these Night at the Rock Show concerts. So it's a full-time gig. Wailing Whitesnake every night is, as you know, can be tough.
Yeah.
But I love my job, man. I love getting out there every night for a new audience. There's 1,000 new people out there every night. We hope, at least. And they expect a great show, so I try to give it to them.
Tell me a crazy story that's happened to you since all the success and stuff. Tell me something that was just out of this world, holy shit. You must have.
There was a woman that was from Canada that was convinced that I was her fiance, and she was pummeling everyone with phone calls and demented messages and frantic letters and emails and everything. And she was stuck in Canada. She needed to get in touch with me. She needed to find me. He just let me talk to him. He knows, he understands, he knows what's going. So that was a little nuts. And there have been some versions of that along the way too. So, I think what it is, some people, they just get so invested in a show like American Idol, and it's the fantasy of the whole thing. And, you come to sort of root for somebody, and you take the journey with them, and you're voting for them, and you're a part of the whole thing, and you see them and their growth. And, sometimes you get a little crazy about it.
Well, especially on TV. I think on TV it's a big, big difference too, because it's the same thing with, I always say with TV shows like characters. I know people like 24. You get into Jack Bauer. You know what I mean? And it's because you're seeing that person and you're seeing them in their most intimate setting, which is usually your bedroom. You're watching TV. When I watch American Idol, usually I TiVo everything and I'm watching. At night, it's a late night. So I'm in bed, I'm relaxing. So I'm my most comfortable and most vulnerable, I think, mentally. So that when I'm watching stuff that I love, those characters, I fall in love with those characters, and you want to root for them and see them.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's what people say the same thing about Z-Rock. Like people like, we see you every week and we're rooting for you and blah, blah, blah. And the cool thing one thing that I always said was cool about our show was that when you meet us, you're meeting the guys that you fell in love with, which is cool. I'm sure in your situation with American Idol is the same thing. Is like someone who's falling in love with Constantine Maroulis meets Constantine Maroulis, and that's what they get. It's not like
exactly. It's a little different than when you're playing like a character on a show or on stage or something like that. And I love Z-Rock. I'm a huge fan. I got to guest star on it with you guys. We had a lot of fun that day, and great show. And I love the format. I love the format of it. I love the sort of rock and roll, Curb Your Enthusiasm thing, the improvisational nature. It's great. As an actor, I mean, that's the stuff that you like want to do,
Oh, yeah. It's fun.
It's fun. It's,
did you know about the show
toes,
before you were on, though? Like, have you watched it? Did you hear about it, or was that the first time?
I had watched it. I had heard a lot about it. I had read some stuff about it. And I think leading up until my appearance on the show, I caught a bunch of episodes, and I just set the DVR and I just watched a bunch of them in a row. It was great.
Any particular?
It's just so distinctly New York, which I love.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, you understand being from New York, and it's funny when you ever get it when you go outside. See, you don't have really a heavy New York accent though. Like when I go out and we tour, people always say, "Oh, can you talk? Can you all say something?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They say,
I think if I stayed in Brooklyn my whole life, like you guys, that probably would be the case. I moved out when I was pretty young. I got an older brother and sister. They grew up through most of their teens in Brooklyn, and all my cousins, they sound just like you. So we moved to North Jersey when I was pretty young, and although Jersey can have a pretty thick...
I was just going to say, Jersey got an accent. I mean, you don't really have any sort of accent. I can't place like what...
I think if you put a few drinks in me, it might come out. But
really?
You know what? Growing up as like a sort of like a theater actor and all that, I learned early on that the sort of emphasis of trying to have like a neutral kind of dialect.
That's what it is.
And then if I need to turn it on a little bit, that's what I do.
You could do like commercials and stuff like that. Right. You have a neutral dialect, and you're right. Now that you said it, it's like that stage, just like can be anything. And it's interesting. And we're so the opposite because even on the show, when I have Dave and Joe on, we always joke around that we butcher the English language because it's like, the Brooklyn is so hard. It's like, hey, forget about it. And we always make this chopping sound. We go chop every time we fuck up the language, a sentence or a grammar. See, grammar. I said grammar. It's not grammar. It's
fine.
Grammar.
That's grammar.
See, look how he says it. You say it like Captain America would say it. You know what I mean?
I fancy myself after Captain America. I try to just...
You'd be a great Captain America.
Just like him.
Well, you can't, but Captain America doesn't... See, but you're... no, you're born here, so it's okay. But your family is Greek, right?
They are. I mean, we're Greek Orthodox. Grew up 100% Greek. But my folks are actually born here. They were born in Brooklyn.
Okay.
They're first generation. And, man, big old Greek family, Brooklyn style. My aunt, my mother's sister, she moved out to New Jersey because her husband worked at IBM, at the big IBM headquarters there in North Jersey. So we kind of followed them out there, and there you have it. My folks still live in Wyckoff, New Jersey, and who knows? I'll end up in the burbs one day too.
Uh-oh. Oh no, Constantine in the burbs.
Never know.
Do you have Greek pride? Like, are you or it is like, oh, it is
so much Greek pride.
Really?
Very involved in the community and the church and all that stuff. So definitely proud Greek American and man, lots of Greek friends out there and fans too. So it's fun.
Well, now we're going to
played a big festival last week in Baltimore, a Greek festival, which is a lot of fun. So,
well, I'm going to use that as my segue into our next section, which is I always end off the interviews with my food talk because this podcast, and I think I mentioned it to you, it's basically, it's rock and roll musical, but also food is like a big element of it. And
great.
Yeah, and since I think you're officially my first Greek guest, so I would like to talk about, because every time I talk with people about food, it generally goes to like Italian, you know what I mean, or sushi or things like that, and steak houses. But we never really talked too much about Greek food. And I think with Joey Belladonna from Anthrax, he was on a couple episodes ago. I was telling him about this awesome Middle Eastern place in Queens, and they had, like, the hummus was amazing. He's never had hummus in his whole life. He's never seen it, touched it, or anything. So
Wow.
now, yeah, right? And it's weird. It's like you would just assume, because that's what we grew up with, things like that, like a bialy. I thought everyone knew what a bialy was, and gefilte fish, and it's like, only in New York. So I wanted to ask you, so as far as food, I need you to tell me now what turns you on. Like, what kind of food, what's your favorite stuff, and maybe a couple of places that you can recommend. You say, oh, you got to go here.
Absolutely.
So talk to me.
Absolutely. You know what? I've been trying to eat more healthy. Definitely, with my schedule, the 8 shows a week, running up and down 6 flights of stairs where my dressing room is. I've been, trying to keep a little more trim, and I've been working out a little bit. So, I definitely try and eat, 4 or 5 like smaller meals a day.
Right.
I'd like to. I don't always get to do that. So I do like, Greek stuff and tapas type foods, little of this, little of that. Some amazing Greek places in New York City are Kalari. Kalari is on, I think, 20th Street, between 5th and 6th Avenue. It's spelled Kellari, and it's a friend's place, and it's great. On the weekends, sometimes they have like a live bouzouki, and people come out. They got a good bar there. They got great food. You can have some pastitsa. You have the fresh catch there of the day.
What's a pastitsa?
Pastitsa is kind of like a Greek lasagna, but it's kind of heavy, but it's really nice. Have a little spanakopita, a little Greek spinach pie, sort of start you off.
Oh, I love spinach pie. What about
the grape
moussaka?
leaves, all that stuff.
Is moussaka is Greek or no?
Moussaka is nice. Yeah, I believe that can be done either with sort of like a meat, like a lamb, or with eggplant too. As a substitute there, which is nice. And for the vegetarians, Milos, Milos, in sort of like the Upper East Side. It's probably the fanciest Greek restaurant in town, and most expensive, but it's excellent. Great atmosphere. Beautiful interior. You really feel like you're in the islands when you're inside there. Easter time, they got the the spits going outside, out front.
Right.
The pig and the lamb is a roasting, and
nice.
It's good stuff. And you can't go wrong with Astoria. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's dozens of great places.
Well, what's
go
the
out
difference?
there on a Saturday
What's
or
the
a
difference
Sunday and have some fun.
Between? I didn't mean to cut you off, but what's the difference, real quick, between like Greek food, and I pardon my naivete, but sometimes I get confused with like Mediterranean, Middle Eastern, Greek. Like it crosses over sometimes for me. But there is a dividing line, right? Like grape leaves would be Greek, hummus would be Middle Eastern, right?
Yeah, it's sort of like I guarantee you talk to some people, they'd be claiming every element of all that stuff. I mean, so much Middle Eastern and Mediterranean stuff crossover, whether it's Greek, Italian, Spanish, or the Middle Eastern countries. There's a lot of crossover like that, and it's good stuff, man. Definitely.
I get confused, and that's why sometimes I'm like, I'm not really sure. Like, I know if I see a Greek salad, I know I'm eating Greek. Does that make sense? Because
wait, what'd you say, man?
I said if I'm eating a Greek salad, then I'm pretty sure I'm eating Greek food at that point.
Yes,
so, right.
You're good. And actually, I'm not a big fan of feta cheese. I don't like it. My brother used to torture me with it when I was a kid.
Right.
See, my father used to have this like walk-in fridge in our house, and he would keep big vats, like I'm talking like barrels, buckets filled with the feta, and they'd have it every night, and it sits in that rind, that like misty water, and it stinks so bad. My brother used to stick my face in there, and tortured me with feta, so I never eat it ever in my life.
You're traumatized.
I stay away from a lot of white. a lot of white food products as a result.
Like tofu, I guess. You're not going to touch tofu anytime soon. Oh, my God.
Way not into tofu.
Yeah.
I think it's just repulsive.
Me too.
So.
But I like feta. But the thing is, feta it took me a while to get into it because feta smells like feet. Am I wrong?
It smells disgusting.
It's
gross.
But it's terrible. But then once you get into it, see, I think your problem is that you were exposed to feta in very dense amounts. Does that make sense? Like, when I order ham, like let's say at a deli, you ever order ham or turkey, like cold cuts? I always have to have them thin because if I get like a piece of ham that's like a 1/16 of an inch, I'm disgusted. Like I'll vomit. But I can't
eat ham either. I can't eat belly ham. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
Why?
Can't do that. It's gross. Just can't do it. I'll have a nice piece of like baked ham on like a holiday or something. It's done nice, but I don't dig on swine that much.
Really?
Swine. Yeah.
Look at that word. Where did that come? Swine. You've been watching too many
Fiction.
biblical movies.
That's what Sam Jackson says. Like, I just don't dig on swine.
I don't dig on swine.
Pig is a filthy animal.
Nice quote. Well, I think the feta is good if you crumble it and it's in light, not dense. I can't eat it when you get the Greek salad and they're like cubes. I can't. I agree with you. But like if it's crumbled, I'm okay. So I would suggest maybe one of these days, maybe take a little taste of the feta. No? Maybe?
Negative, Captain. I'll eat other like goat cheese, a little crumbled nice goat cheese in like mixed greens with the balsamic vinaigrette and all that. I could almost get through that, no problem. But I just can't do the actual feta. Well, can't happen.
Well, there it is. That's an exclusive right there. And you better hope now that I'm not on tour with you with Rock of Ages because you just gave me the ultimate kryptonite right there. So that's it.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's it. You're gonna have like vats of feta in your dressing room and on the bus and what? Yeah, I'm gonna make a feta bed.
That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work for me.
Actually, you know what? I shouldn't have said that because I'm sabotaging my own gig. All right. I'm not gonna say anything more.
Exactly.
All right, well,
now you've blown it.
Well, listen, bro. Thank you so much for being on.
You have to figure out some other of my weaknesses, which there are many of.
Oh, so. I'll find out. I'm going to find out. I'm gonna research this, find out all the kryptonites.
Teasing me about the Yankees, like when they have a rough loss. That's never good.
That's bad.
For me.
Not good. I wonder
never
what
good.
mine.
It puts me in a bad mood.
You know what?
And the Giants, too, New York Giants, just filthy. Like if they lose a stupid game, and you want to text me about it and just to ride me on it, that is not fun for me.
You're like,
I've given you two more.
You're just like my drummer though. Joey's the same way. Like he won't watch with anybody. He has to lock himself. He's like an avid Yankee and Giants guy. And he watches by himself. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. He takes his phone off the thing. And if they lose, he comes, it's curses like, fuck, motherfucking Buff, you stupid idiot. And it's terrible because every time we play Boston, we almost can't play Boston because of him. You know how many fights we almost got into because of him? So, yeah, so you guys would probably.
I went to college there too, so.
Oh, no, you guys would get along fine, just fine. Well, listen, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I hope you had fun, and I hope everybody now got a little bit more insight. Because obviously, people probably ask you about Idol all the time, Rock of Ages all the time. I like to get that stuff out there too, but I like to go deeper. I want to find out about the feta, your feta fears. And your, you know what I mean? And your walk-in refrigerators and your, and sneaking out after.
Oh, my God.
That's the fun stuff.
Well, now you know, and knowing's half the battle.
That's right. G.I. Joe.
A real American hero.
I got you.
Love G.I. Joe.
I'm on you. I have all the G.I. Joes. Do you have them?
I have some. I probably melted a lot of their heads with magnifying glasses when I was a kid.
Oh, you were that kid? Oh, I hated kids like
But I was way
you.
into sports and way into figures and all that stuff. But I just I wasn't good about keeping them all intact, and I'm regretful because I would be like Steve Carell in 40-Year-Old Virgin. Like I have now everything I keep in packages. I don't even open it.
That's me, dude.
And you know how he's like, you know how hard it was to not open this as a kid.
I open everything, but I have everything in mint condition. Like my dad would literally, punish us if we didn't put the toys away correctly. He taught us capes on the bottom because you don't want them to get wrinkled. Fragile guys on top. And then I figured out all these, different ways of packing. And dude, if you ever in Brooklyn, come over. I'll show you. We'll fucking take out the Joes and we'll have a battle.
Oh my God! You got like the ship, the battleship, and everything.
I think that's one of the only vehicles we don't have. We had it years ago, but I don't think I have the battleship. I have everything out, like all the major vehicles and stuff like that.
Wow!
But the ship was just
the movie kind of sucked. They tried to make a movie, kind of sucked.
Yeah. It's always. I'm waiting for a Thundercats movie.
And you can't even get the DVD of the TV series. There's no DVDs.
You sure? Oh, the movie.
I'm pretty sure. I've researched it. Yeah. Any fans listening, you want to hook me up? Hook me up with some G.I. Joe DVDs from the original animated 1980s series.
Yeah,
definitely.
What came out on DVD was the animated movie. That's what's on DVD. Remember with Cobra? Not Cobra.
Okay. I'd take that too. I'd take that.
Oh, that you can find though.
Remember they started getting into like DNA and it like got like really trippy in the last like season of the TV show.
And too many colors. One thing too, I started losing when the ships were all like neon orange and shit. And everyone had like
it went to that place, It went to that like, oh, this is the new G.I. Joe.
It almost felt
thing,
like they fired Duke and like Ricky Rocket came in. It goes, all right, Joes, I'm taking over.
Ricky Rocket definitely spread a little, glam jizz all over the G.I. Joe series. But
all right, listen, if we're gonna fight crime, that doesn't mean we have to fight it in these drab colors. Let's get some neon green missiles, baby. Woo!
Oh my God!
That's when we kind of like tapered off.
I distinctly remember that switch. I remember that switch, and I was still into it, but I was like, "This is a little weird. I don't know what's going on."
It wasn't the same. Definitely wasn't the same. But I'll tell you one thing though. Scarlett was one of the girls. Scarlett was one of the girls that I pleasured myself to. I loved Scarlett.
I definitely pleasured myself to her as well. They're online, if you watch on YouTube, there's some freak things. People, the like PSAs they would do at the end of the show.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe. Well, there's some like ones with like remixes and like people like put in a different audio in, and it totally makes sense. Like they make them totally perverted and gross, and it's pretty funny.
There's a website, by the way. Look how funny this is. We ended the show about 20 minutes ago, and we're still going. There's a website, bro, that is like I don't know the name of it, but it's like all animated porn, but like not cartoons like Simpsons, Family Guy, G.I. Joe, Thundercat, like it's all people that submit it. And I saw like a couple of like previews, and it was unreal. Like it's like Marge giving Homer a blowjob on the couch while he's watching TV. He's going, woo-hoo,
oh my God,
woohoo, woohoo. Yeah, and like Lois and in Family Guy doing the dog and everything. Oh, dude, it's insane. And that's what we all grew up thinking, right? Dude, we were.
How much you all love what?
I know. I was saying that's what every kid in the 80s grew up watching those cartoons thinking that. I don't care what they say. I was like.
Exactly.
Oh, Teela from He-Man? Oh, Teela, I would give a.
She was hot.
Teela was hot. Teela was hot. And what
I
liked about her.
The sweet girl from Thundercats, wasn't there like a pretty girl from Thundercats?
Well, Cheetara?
Even though she was half cat.
Yeah, Cheetara. Yeah,
Cheetara. She was hot. Yeah.
The only thing about Cheetara for me is it's like having sex with like a gymnast or something, like almost too in good shape. Does that make sense?
A little ripped. She's a little too ripped.
Too ripped. She's too fast. Can you imagine? She was so fast. Can you imagine? It'd be like, okay, I'm done. Wait. What?
I'm done. That's it.
I'm done. Yeah. Like Teela. One thing I liked about Teela was she had that attitude, and I always felt like she would be like insane in bed. Just because she would let out all that frustration because she was so like on top of things, And
totally.
You know who would suck in bed? She-Ra, because she was like a little freaking Jap. I bet you She-Ra. She-Ra was probably Jewish and grew up on the Upper East Side. I bet you.
I like those girls.
Oh, you like those girls? I don't know, man.
Sometimes
I don't know. They're fun for a little bit, but I need someone who's gonna is gonna get into it. So
totally.
Right. Well, that's a topic for another discussion. We'll do this again next time.
Part 2 of the podcast.
That's right, part 2 of which animated character do you want to have sex with? That will be the next topic.
Exactly.
So listen, dude, thanks so much again. Everybody go check out Rock of Ages. And while Constantine's still in town, you still have a couple months, and then he's gone. We're gonna lose him. New York's gonna lose you. So.
I'll be back.
He'll be back. Hey, Terminator 2. All right, there you go. Now I got all your quotes. All right, dude. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Paulie. Love you, man. I'll talk to you soon. Great job last night at the show, and we'll talk to you soon, man. Have a great summer.
All right. You too, bro.
All right, man.
Later.
Bye.
So that took an interesting turn. And it's funny too, because that's why I try to keep the guests on for as long as I can, because I always feel like the beginning is like a warm up. You know, it's like when you're doing cardio. It's like the first 20 minutes is really just like warming up your heart and your lungs, and you know, you're not really burning fat until after that. And for me, it's the same thing with an interview. It's like it takes a little time for people to lose their you know, put their guard down a little bit, get through the basic, you know, the typical plugs. You know, the first part of that show was, you know, all Rock of Ages, you know, and here's the website and the Twitter and this and that, which everyone's got to, you got to do it. I mean, that's part of it, of an interview. But once you get that out of the way, it's fun to really get into the real stuff. You know what I mean? Like, whoever knew that he had like a total like phobia for feta cheese? I mean, that's to me, that's gold, baby. That's gold. That's why I do this shit. You know, I don't need to know about people's websites. I know how to find out. I want to know about stuff like that. But yeah, but it was a great night. You know, like I said, second time doing it with him. You know, at the High Line, and we just loved it. And for me and Dave, it was great too, because it's something different. You know, it's not. I'm used to rocking out and balls out singing, and you know, throwing shapes, and you know, getting into my guitar, you know, God poses and stuff, and to just sit there with a guitar, and David had the electric bass, but you know, still just strip down and sing, and you really have to. It's a different way of singing. You know, you can't belt it out all the time. So you really have to have more control, and you're very vulnerable. And I love that. I like danger. See, that's why I like being on stage. And I think I would love doing Rock of Ages with them, because to me, I enjoy that more than doing like a film or even TV. I mean, Z-Rock was a lot of fun, but more so because of the people, not the process. I didn't necessarily not into that process of like, oh, okay, you messed up, let's do it again. See, I don't like that. I want to know that I don't want to know that I can do it again, because then where's the danger? You know? So I totally respect people that do that night after night. I mean, even though you're still doing the same thing over and over again, you know, you still got to do it right. You still got to make sure you hit that note, and he's got to go out there each time, and you don't know what's going to happen that night. So, you know, that's the cool thing about that. So anyway, all right. So now I want to take the rest of this show to talk about the Midwest tour that ZO2 had last week, and just talk about a couple of the things that happened. I'll try to just pick out the highlights. Well, first of all, it was a great run. All the shows, you know, great shows. The turnouts were good. The people, you know, the energy and the excitement in the air was great. And for us, it was me personally is exactly what I needed. I needed to be on the road. I needed to get away from all the craziness. You know, when you're at home, a lot of things pile up. I don't know why. It's weird. It's like when it's just, you know, you would think they would pile up when you're away from home too, but for some reason, when you're away from that phone and that computer and you're out of reach, things just become simpler. I don't know how to explain it. You know, you get up, you check out of the hotel, you go have some late breakfast or whatever, you get to the club, you sound check, you play the show, you know, meet and greet after, or hang out, maybe pig out a little bit and go to sleep, and then you repeat, and that's it. Like, there's very, very few changes to that schedule, and I don't know, I love it. So we were out, and one of the things we tried to do was, it was Joey's idea. He did a little research, and he found out some of the man versus food challenges that were in the areas that we're going to be in. Now, this is a bad idea for a couple reasons. First of all, it's a bad idea because we're going to, you know, destroy our bodies eating crazy food, but that never stopped us before. The reason that it really was a bad idea, at least for me, was I was definitely not prepared. I was like, you know, a boxer coming out of retirement. You know what I mean? Like if anybody saw Rocky, the most recent one, you know what I mean? That's like me. That's like thinking, yeah, hey, I used to win fights. I could do it again. And then I'd go challenge some guy who's like half my age. It's just, It doesn't work that way. And I found out the hard way. I was too cocky, too confident. We all went in thinking, yeah, Adam Richmond got nothing on us, man versus food my ass. Because we've done some pretty amazing feats. I've done some insane stuff. So it's like, it's not that I can't do it. It's just that the last couple of months, I've been also, like Constantine was saying, eating healthy. I've been eating really healthy, I mean, the occasional cheating here and there, but for the most part, with the inspiration from my producer extraordinaire, Alex, who kind of got me started on this kick. I've been pretty good with cutting out the dairy and the gluten and cutting back on the fried stuff and the red meats and, not totally. I'm not 100%. But I would say like in the 90 percentile, the 90s as far as the gluten and the dairy stuff. With the occasional cheat here and there. But for the most part, my stomach, if you know me, you know that I named my stomach Quado. Quado has been really out of the loop. He's been sort of hibernating. And then I woke him up for this challenge. And, he wasn't warmed up. What am I going to say? He tried to run a marathon without stretching. And it didn't seem so bad. It was these 3 sandwiches that we did in Chicago at a place called Lucky's. But here's the thing. The sandwiches, first of all, they were French bread, so they were like that thick kind of bread, which, again, bread to me, anytime these challenges are, to me, the challenges that are all based on carbs, to me are almost, I can't say it's, it's unfair, but it's definitely not my idea of a good challenge, because it's almost like, what's the point? It's like starch and carbs. They're going to expand. They just fill you up. If you want, give me a steak. Give me like pastrami. Give me something. You know what I mean? Give me like something that I want to eat. This was basically a French fry sandwich. 3 gigantic French fry sandwiches. The breads were thick and dry. The French fries were pretty good. Like the fries were actually good, but it was just mountains of fries on the sandwich. And the meat was maybe 2 slices. I got a turkey, 3 different ones. I got a ham and cheese, I got a turkey, and then I got a pastrami. And literally, like, if the sandwich was like 6 inches, the meat was maybe, a 1/16 of an inch. It was like pathetic. It was, so it's like you're eating basically French fries on French bread. That was the sandwich. And they were big, and there were 3 of them. Now, here's where it gets even more pathetic. First of all, so let me walk you through this. We go into the place. We take the pictures outside. We're like, we're going to do this. This is ZO2. We're here at Lucky's. We're going to take down the challenge. No problem. Now, Adam Richmond did it in 24 minutes. If you do it in less than 30 minutes, you don't pay. If you do it in under an hour, well, the challenge is 60 minutes. So you have to do it in 60 minutes anyway. But if you do it, I think you get one of the sandwiches free. And if you do it under 30 minutes, you get all of them free. So he did it in 24 minutes. So we're like, oh, it should be a piece of cake. Now, I know that I knew I wasn't going to necessarily do it in 30 minutes because I'm not a speed eater. I eat. I don't compete. I eat. There's a difference. I actually enjoy what I'm doing, and I just eat lots of it. So I'm not very good at speed. My jaw locks up. I can't, I don't swallow in big chunks. I like to enjoy it. And the thing is, because I didn't necessarily enjoy the sandwich so much, that's why I had a problem. Because I wasn't getting into it. Like the first sandwich and a half to 2 sandwich, the first sandwich and a half should have been super enjoyable. That's the only way I could have did it. I had to really be into it because I would have been like, oh, this is fucking awesome. This is delicious. This shit is, mouth-watering. Because if not, then you're gonna burn out quickly, So then what happened was, we ordered our sandwiches. Now, while we're waiting for our food, there's a couple guys next to us, and one of the guys is doing the challenge. He's in the middle of the challenge, and we say, how far are you? And I got one more, 3 more bites left. And we're like, really? How much time? And it was like 20 minutes in. So we couldn't believe. So this guy wound up doing it in 25 minutes. He did it. Now, we don't know if his friend maybe helped him or not, because there were 2 guys there, and the lady was like, and it was crazy too, because it's one waitress. She comes around, she goes, okay, go. And she times you. And then she's like, walks away and like gets drinks and stuff. So you could totally cheat. It's ridiculous. So we think this guy might have cheated, but look, maybe not. Anyway, he does it. And we're thinking, oh, we could totally do this. The guy just freaking did it. And we're like, with a ZO2, baby. Well, we get through like the first half of the sandwich or the first sandwich. We're like, all right, we're doing all right. It's like, how much time went by, right? It's like 18 minutes. We're like, what? Like it flew by. We like couldn't believe it. And then you start realizing, like that first sandwich should have been done in like 5 minutes, you know? And all of a sudden I see Dave and Joe, you know, like, and it's funny because Dave like puts massive amounts in his mouth. So it looks like he's going strong and he's like, but the thing is, the mouth, it takes him 20 minutes to swallow that bite. So it just he has big, giant, like, you know, like chipmunk cheeks for the whole time. So I'm trying to speed up because I know I'm running out of time, but I know my speed is not my technique. And that hurt me too because I started getting a little indigestion. I'm like, fuck, you know, I can't do it like this. But I didn't think I was going to get it, and I was having problems. But they quit, so they were done. They said, "There's no way." Joey's like, "I'm not even going to continue because I know I can't do it." And Dave's like, "Oh," and they're taking like little bites so that they keep going. But I'm actually still going pretty strong. Like I'm still going, and then it hit me, and then it was just like, like a giant hammer on the head. It just hit me, and I was like, you get to a point where if you know you can't finish it, what is the point? You're just killing yourself. And I was, it was too close. It was like only 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left, and we just let the clock run out. And we felt so ashamed. I can't even tell you. And why? Why are we ashamed that we couldn't eat 3 gigantic sandwiches? I mean, that's not something to be ashamed of. But we were. My pride and my especially me, because I'm always the favorite. I've taken down stuff. Those guys, I didn't think they were going to do it anyway, but I really thought I could. And Quado, I think Quado has seen better, his last days. I think Quado's officially retired. I know that's really sad, and I know a lot of my listeners on the Twitter, when they were following that challenge, were really upset about it. They couldn't believe it, but I think that's it. I mean, I felt, not only did I fail, but I felt like ass the rest of the night. My whole night was ruined. We went to go, we were hanging out with one of Joey's former Ludwig reps who lived there, and he was taking us to his studio, and we saw his giant drum kits, which I actually tweeted a photo of. Insane drum kit. And then we went to see a movie, and like we were just hanging out, and he took us around Chicago a little tour. The whole time I was doubled over. I had my pants open, so that I had no pressure on my stomach. And I was doubled over, and I'm in the back, and I'm like, oh. And they're like, do you need a hospital? I'm like, oh. It was terrible. My whole night was ruined. I screwed myself up. So I guess the moral of the story is I think those days are over with. I think I'm past that. As much as I love picking out, I prefer the way I feel now. I do. I like the way I look. I like the way I feel. And I just, and I can still pig out, but if I'm going to pig out on my terms. I'm not going to eat a French fry sandwich on French bread. I'm not going to do it. If I go to Katz's and then I go for 3 or 4 of those sandwiches and it's going to ruin my body, I'll do it for that. But that's the thing. So I really do apologize to anybody out there who was rooting for me and who is Quado aficionados. I think I'm going to have to throw in the towel on this one. And I don't know if I'll be doing those challenges anymore. That was a big blow to our ego. I have to tell you, it was a big, big blow. And then to top it off, this was a bad day for us. The same day, that's the day Z-Rock 2 was released. So we go to Best Buy. They don't have it. We went to another place. They don't have it. Went to another place. They don't have it. No, none of the stores had it. They had it online. They had it in there so you can order it. So it's in stock, but they didn't have physical copies. And they were just like, yeah, shelf space and this and this and that. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I know they have it in New York. I mean, they do. Stores have it, but it just so happened that the stores we went to in the place we were at didn't have it. So you can imagine that wasn't a great day for ZO2. But the rest of the tour was awesome. The shows were great. The people were great. We had a lot of fun. And I'm wondering if we didn't really pig out other than that. That was our only crazy pig out story. But we did a couple Cracker Barrels. We did some Bob Evans. And I did a lot of like poached eggs and turkey sausage and fruit and things like that. So, so anyway, that was our trip to the Midwest. And we plan to go back. We had a great time. And, I guess that's it. So I'm going to have Benny Boy back on soon, because at the time of this taping, well, once you hear this, the show would have already been done. But this, we're taping this a couple of days before our big M3 festival in Maryland, which is going to be the Scorpions, Cinderella, Kicks, Winger, Warrant, LA Guns, Bang Tango, I don't know, a bunch of other bands. It's just this big, like, 80s rock festival, and we're on it. And I am super excited, and I'm hoping that I can schmooze and use my schmoozing skills to get some people to do the podcast. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, so the next podcast, what I'd like to do is I'd like to get Benny Boy on and maybe review the new Scorpion CD. And hopefully I'll have some great stories for you. Okay? So that is all. Go to thepoliezshow.com or iTunes to download all the episodes. And zo2.com for any information on the band. And my Twitter is twitter.com/zo2paulie. And I'm sorry I didn't get to the emails today, so I'll try to do that next time. But Paulie at thepoliezshow.com. That's how you email me. And tell me what you think of anything, all right? Anything on your mind, just talk to me. Talk to me. I want to talk to you. That's what I'm here for. All right? So that is all. I'll talk to you later.